Hey YouTube, what's going on? I'm back. It's been a long time. Had some issues in the past, and I haven't really got out much. Here I am in a river. Secret location, of course. Can't tell you. It's no telling creek. But as you can see behind me, and it's the same thing behind you. This area that I'm in, this river, I have never seen it this low. This is in my hometown, and I've known this river for a long time, so to see it like this is just, it's crazy. And I've been up here a couple of times in the past few weeks. Further down that way, I have some test holes where I did a little bit of digging just to see if there was anything here, and I did find gold. So here we are again, and I've had people asking me about my YouTube channel, why I haven't done anything on there lately. So I kind of didn't have a setup, if you will, but now I have a decent camera, decent phone, and so here we are. I picked this spot because of a tree that's down right here that there's root ball, and it's kind of cleaned out a little bit, and believe it or not, it's up to the top of my boot almost. This part right here is about the deepest. This is the deepest hole that I could get in. There might be some more up river or down river, I guess, because the river does flow this way. So like I said, I found gold down there just behind the camera. Today I kind of want to test upriver and see if I can find anything up here. I'm just going to do a little bit of classifying because it's extremely rocky, if you couldn't tell. A lot of rock in here. It's very hard digging. So yeah, it's going to take me a while to get some decent material in the buckets, but I'm just going to poke around a little bit, punch a couple of holes here and there, and see if we can come up with a decent spot. And then I may go up and grab my micro dredge. It's a little 2-inch electric dredge. May introduce that to you today. If I don't, I'll do it in a separate video. But right now, I'm just going to dig a little around the area and see what I find. So what do you say? Let's go. Today I'm just using some 3-gallon buckets, not sponsored. Easier to carry the material when you get a bucket full. And I took one bucket, drilled a bunch of 1/4-inch holes in it all the way around. So we're going to test that out a little bit more. I brought some extra classifiers too to help classify it down a little bit better. This does work as is, but it is a lot more work. If we can use these and cut it down a little bit more, make it a little bit faster, that's awesome. Now I just got to decide, where do I want to dig? I think I'll take my first test hole right here in the center. Why not? Get a bucket set up here. Get a little more water. water in there, it'll set better. All right. This whole area, as far as I can tell, I'm the first and only one that's ever been out here. If you can tell by me slipping all over the place, these rocks and boulders are very slippery. But the whole area is they're packed in pretty good. And like I said, there is a ton of them. So it is quite a bit of work to get some decent material. I haven't, in my other test areas, I haven't really tried to gauge the depth of where the gold is that I'm finding. At some point I'll have to do that, because if the gold's pretty much sitting within the first few inches, there's no point in going 3-4 feet down if you can find more just right off the top, especially in this stuff, as difficult as it is to dig. Last week when I was here, I used my little dredge and punched down probably 2 foot. There you go. I believe that's a quartz, possibly pudding rock. There is stuff in here. I have found plenty of quartz, granite. I've not come across any geode rocks. That's not to say that they're not here. And then also with that hole that I dredged here last weekend, I came into contact with clay material, which is always a good sign. The clay material was at the bottom of the 2 foot. But it was at the tail end of my day, or the day how much time I had been out here, and so I didn't take just a sample of that part of the hole. That could have told me some things, but at that point I was pretty beat, even though I was just dredging. And hopefully the noise cancellation is working rather well, because this is a public area. There's a walkway just up on the bank, and then there's a road right next to that. So I apologize if you hear anything that offends you coming from the way. Little plastic push pin without the needle. It's a good thing that there's no needle in it. There's some more glass. I've been finding that. No matter where you go, keep your gloves on. These ones are a winter glove, but they work really well in the water. And they do a pretty good job of protecting your hands if you come across any glass or sharp metal. That's good. And a whole lot of smaller rocks in this, so I think we'll go ahead and take that classifier out. Yeah, that works real well. Guess I better make sure I'm not putting it right back in the same hole I was digging out of, huh? Kind of defeats the purpose, don't you think? Anyways, I'm gonna punch down on this hole a little bit, and like I said, we're gonna dig around a couple different areas, do some panning. I'll probably put a little bit more in this bucket from this hole and go ahead with a panning out, see what's there, if there's anything there or not, and move on to the next one. But anyways, that's what I'm doing right now. Cue the time lapse. Holy crap. That looks interesting, guys. It is granite. If I do believe, and it might, it's probably mica. We'll keep that, and I'll show that to you here in a little bit. Tossing the interesting rocks in here, and I keep going right back out. Must be them leverite rocks. That's interesting. There we go again. Some of you watching might think, why am I classifying it down? What if there's a big nugget? Chances are there's not. This area was not particularly this area, but I do know in this state there was mining back in the day for gold, and it was not profitable in their eyes. So they found gold, just not enough for them to want to stay here and really do a lot of mining, because California and, you know, out west in Alaska was where the really good stuff was. And so they all pretty much stopped what they did here and went that way. All right, well, I think I got enough material to sit on my butt and do a little panning. One thing I brought along with me today is a 3D printed pan For those of you that don't know or have just joined the channel watching for the first time, I do have a 3D printer. I have a buddy of mine that has a 3D printer, and so we do a lot of different things. Obviously I'm into the gold stuff, and so I try to implement my 3D printer into the prospecting, which a lot of other people have done the same thing, and that's where this comes from. I'll slowly walk up and give you a close-up shot of it. Try not to kill myself at the same time. Take trash out, guys. Anytime you're out, you find something. This is metal of something. Don't leave it there. Take it out, clean it up, you know. The government is every day getting more restrictive, and in my opinion, it's not so much the government as it is these high dollar, highly paid people and activists, if you will, to go out and stir up trouble. We don't hurt the environment, guys. Ones of you that are prospectors, you know exactly what we do. We help. But the EPA and other entities are trying to stop it in every area. California, if you don't know, they're down to gold pants. You can no longer dredge, you can't use any motorized, any electrics, none of that. And it's because of EPA and other entities. But yet, EPA can go out and use essentially the same exact equipment that we use to dredge lakes and rivers to support the fish. My view on that is, if that's what you're doing, why are you catching, essentially have a sluice, same thing we use, in your dredges? But yet your dredges put all the pollutants right back in. Ours catches it. It's been proven time and time again. Our equipment catches the lead, the fishing hooks, the sinkers, all that stuff. And we don't just throw it back in. We take it right back. We take it out. Mercury catches that. We take that stuff out. We don't put it back in the water. Anyhow, no more of that. So here's the pan. I was working on a pan design similar to this, and so when I seen this, I don't know if you can read that or not, but it's from Prospector Trip. Look him up on YouTube. He sells these on eBay, and this one is 8-inch by 12-inch. He does say in one of his videos that he pretty much meant it to be more of just a cleanup pan versus a production pan, but he has used it for that purpose and it seemed to work. This is fully 3D printed. Don't leave them out in the sun. They will not so much melt, but they will deform. This little bit of sun, and being in the water, it's not going to hurt it. Some materials it will wreak havoc on. This one seems to be, I'm not 100% sure what he prints these out of. I believe it's PETG, which is a little bit better than the PLA material. Holds up better in the sun, UV rays and stuff like that. You still don't want to leave it out in the open if you can help it. So anyways, enough jabber-jawing. Get back to the looking for gold here. Since my bucket's wanting to float right there, I'm just going to plop down just in front of my hole. I'm going to try this pan out real quick, see what I think of it. I didn't bring mine out that I was working on. I have a prototype printed, but it's still in the working phase. It works. It kept a hold of the gold, but it's kept a hold of the gold too well. With the 3D printing, it stacks the layers. So it starts here at the bottom, and then it stacks them. Well, in that stack, they're not perfectly aligned. There's little gaps in between. You can't see, most of the time, you can't see them with the naked eye. When you pull out a microscope and look at it under a microscope, you'll see the microscopic lines, gaps in the lines, and it actually grabbed a hold of the gold that I was testing with. They were microscopic pieces, but big enough that I could see them. Can't get them out of the pan. Tried to use a toothbrush to get it down into the groove and work it out. Can't get it out of the pan. So, with that instance, pretty much I have to use some spray paint and more or less seal the surface of it. It'll help close up them gaps and keep the gold from going too far. And as far as my new videos, I do plan on doing, like I said, I had my buddy asking me why I haven't done any videos, and kind of gave me a little nudge, you know, to fire it back up. And kind of going along with what he said as far as how to, you know, I want to make sure you guys are seeing what you want to see. I don't want you getting bored. This isn't a super exciting thing for the most part. It's a calming deal. You come out here and sit in the water and throw some rocks around. And in the end, maybe you're lucky enough to find a little bit of shiny. I guess that's one of the reasons why I didn't really do a lot of videoing, making videos, because I don't know how much people want to sit and watch me do this. There will be times where I will speed it up, try and help the boredom. But for the most part, I'm going to keep it as raw as possible. That was another aspect of it, is I don't have any editing experience. I'm not a editor, so I've tried it. In other videos that I made, I sit down in front of the computer for hours and edit the video, cut things out, you know, try to add special effects or something to make it pop a little bit more. I hate doing that. Gonna be quite honest, I don't like to do the editing. I know some will tell you it's all part of video making, but for me, I kind of rather see the art. You know, if I'm watching somebody else, kind of rather see the rawness of it. So with that said, there will be some dead air parts where I'm just gonna go about my business, do my thing, and not have much to say as I'm doing it. I will try to at least edit some of that stuff out, maybe. But then again, you have a fast forward button, so you start to get bored, feel free to skip through. Find the areas where there's some interest. I'm sure the more I record and put videos out, the better they'll get. Everybody has to start somewhere. So far, I've liked this pan. I really do. It's, like I said, it's along the same lines of what I was designing and what I've been working on. I just don't have that big of a printer. Stuff that I print, I would have, like for this, I would probably have to cut it up. I could print it, but I would have to print it in pieces and then glue it together. And that was something that for a pan, I didn't want to have to do that, you know, because you got grooves inside. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to go ahead and cut the video off here, just to help save on battery and space on the phone. But I'll get this pan down and come back and I'll get it down there. If there's anything in there, I'll show you what's in there. If there's not, no point in bringing up the video to show you something that's not there. I'll probably jump to a different hole. So, see you soon. Alright guys and girls, we finished our first half a bucket, if you will. And this is what we come up with on the first come on, focus in there. First little test hole. Try and get it without the sun hitting it or shade. Bear with me. Try and get you a good shot of this. The skaters are out, and I did not put my skater spray on. Alright, there we go. Looks pretty decent on my end, so hopefully you guys can see it for better. If I can hold it still here. There's probably a dozen pieces in there or so. And like I said, that was just in that one little dig spot. Right in there somewhere. Come on, focus. So anyways, it only took you about a second or two before you finally seen that pan with the gold in it. You might be able to see it there. But it took me a good 30 to 45 minutes to clean that bucket out and get it panned down. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and probably punch another hole up that way. Come on, don't poke. There you go. Get up here a little bit closer to that tree. I may even go right here by the ball, the root ball, and punch a hole. I don't know that I'm gonna sluice it down or pan it down. I may just go ahead and take the concentrates home and set up a little cleanup sluice and run them through that. It's a little bit faster. I enjoy myself out here. To me, it's relaxing. Other than walking on these stones, I did fall. Back is a little wet still. I was trying to sit down on the bucket, and the bucket turned over on me and threw me in the water, which was right after I turned off the camera. So there's no blooper there for you. Anyhow, figure I'd come and bring it back on, show you guys that. Like I said, if I move up there, I may try to dig down a little bit more here. I got options, man. And it's my day off, so if I want to stay out here all day, it's almost 3 o'clock now. I've been out here for about an hour and a half. Got out kind of late because we did have some rain come through. Very, very little. The way it looked on the radar, it was going to hammer us pretty good, but once it actually got over the top, it barely did anything. Good news for me because it keeps the water level down in here, but it also needs to come up. So anyhow, guys and girls, that's what I got so far. Depending on what I do, I may or may not bring it back on. This might be the end, it might not be. That's what it means when we say raw. So until the next one, get out there. Do something like this, even if it's just to walk around and check out nature. Put your phones down, get outside. And I will see you on the next adventure. All right, everybody. So I made an executive decision. It wasn't that far from the car, but as rocky as it is, it makes it really difficult to walk on. And so I finished up that little bucket, classified down, and grabbed both. I got about a quarter bucket, 2 quarter buckets, so half a bucket of material. I'm just going to take it back to the house and clean it up there and see what we get in there. As you see, I'm pretty well beat right now, so, and that was just from the trip back to the car. So yeah, I'm glad I did it. It's almost dinner time, so get back to the house, get cleaned up, have some dinner, and maybe play around with the dirt a little bit. But all in all, I had a fun day, fun couple of hours being out here, as I always do. I think if I come back out tomorrow, I may come back out tomorrow. If I do, I'll probably go ahead and set up my little dredge. I got some more tests I want to do. I'm just using a Gold Hog mini sluice, and I 3D printed a dredge head for it. And still kind of testing it out. If anybody, for the ones that don't have one or never heard of Gold Hog, it's pretty much 6 inches wide, and I'm running a 2-inch nozzle on it. Not ideal, but it can be done. The actual full 3D printed setup is subsurface dredge, but I'm gonna leave that for a new video, different video, and we'll leave this one here. If I decide to come out tomorrow, or if I have a chance to get out here tomorrow and run my setup that I've built, then I'll go ahead and make another video and let you guys check it out, see what you think, see how well it works. I know it works from other ways that I've designed or done it. It still it's got a little bit too much power, for the ones that know dredges and stuff, I'm sure you're shaking your head, absolutely. So it doesn't hold as much material as it should. And being that it's an electric dredge, running a normal bilge pump you would put into a boat, it does have a bit of an upgrade to it, which makes it more powerful. So it has the volume, but not the high pressure. And that's okay in this situation with a small 6-inch wide sluice box. But I still fight with the height. Bilge pumps are not meant to pump a lot of water really high. They're meant to pump a lot of water fast, but not upstream, up high. So the higher that I have the sluice, the more or the less suction that I get. I lose suction when I raise it up. So I did some more modifications, and to help hopefully keep the line down closer to where the pump is, level with the pump, so that it doesn't have to fight going uphill. And I'll get out here at some point and test it out and see how well it works. If it doesn't work, then I'm leaning towards a whole different style, a crash box style, if you will, to see if I can make that work. Anyways, enough rambling. I'm going to get back on the road, get home, get cleaned up, eat some food, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.